question that I asked Azim earlier, okay? How much did you
Uh,
all actually prepare for GamesCon? How much practice was there actually?
okay, so we had to divide GamesCon into two parts, right? The finals and the event. The event, we going into the event, we were prepared. I say much more prepared because we had a date, the time, well in advance of when it actually played off. So leading up to the actual event, I think we were practicing a lot more from the last tournament, which was a wash by NLD from NLD. That was like a 5-0. I think we got it. If you add up all the games for that tourney, like the finals, I think it was 3 games straight we get, and then when we met them in the semis, I think it was two games. I can't remember. It was 5-0.
Hmm.
So that had us like, I was a wake up call. I was like, whoa. And at that point, we realized we need to go back to the drawing board and really pick apart because we never did that before. We never studied the replays. We never, and I think we had to do it because at that point, we just knew they were the stronger team. So when we went and we analyzed the replays, all this preparation went leading up to GamesCon. I don't want real try hard shit. We literally, could I use the word shit in this stream?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. That's fine. That's fine. Nothing more
Sorry,
than that,
kids. This
though.
is 18 plus, bruh. Yeah, we literally picked apart the replays. We watched how I watched player perspective. I wanted to understand Azim's mind. I was watching to see how he playing, how he died here, what went on when he smoked, all kind of stuff. And we got a fair idea where we went wrong, and we tried to implement, well, correct some of those mistakes and improve on our team communication in a lot of the pubs. Because I mean, you could just play a pub and just wing it and hope for the best, right? Apart with the strats and um, the actual in-game play. But I believe the communication was real critical, and I really wanted to emphasize, made my presence as a captain be felt on my team. Like you could call yourself a captain and not really say anything, like not be a lieutenant on the battlefield. And that's where I knew I was lacking. I wasn't really commanding my team. So we were going in all, like, so much opinions would come up and one deciding moment. So when we worked on that, and we felt like a vulture, we felt like, yeah, okay, we have that synergy. Leading up to GamesCon was pretty confident. And of course, we wouldn't go in and underestimate any of our opponents. I mean, can't go in overconfident. We treated every game with respect and as if we could have lost that game, every single game. So we didn't let up on any game. And yeah, I think we were fairly prepared for the tournament. The finals, however, I didn't anticipate it to be that long. I mean, Pyro literally flew in from away,
Hmm.
and that's time with his girlfriend as well. Precious time now. So the week after the event on Saturday, we had no practice until Daryl had to go back to the States,
Right.
which was like
Tuesday,
Tuesday
wasn't it?
of,
Yeah.
yeah, it was Tuesday. So we had no practice. Well, I mean, we had real practice before the event, right? So we kind of felt confident. But leading up to the finals, which is against NLD, and NLD is no team to blink at. They're pretty strong all around. And, I was actually really nervous leading up to that day. But I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, we just had to do what we could. So Nara went back from Tuesday into when the tournament was Thursday.
Yes, Thursday night.
Right. I have school. School started back for me. I went back to UE, and that was the second week of UE, right? And electrical engineering in Israel work real. So I literally had like a hour or two to play any night. Daryl as well, he's working. So we were just winging it and hoping for the best, and well, somehow we came out the better team. I'll talk more about that. But I think that answered the question, right?
That's a great answer, actually, because my very next question was going to be, how confident were you and your team? How confident were you all going into the tournament? But I think you covered that just now.
I can
So
expand on that a little more
yeah,
if you
please
want.
do. Please do.
Yeah. Well, NLD is a strong team, right? You can't really go in feeling as if you have it won. Whether, despite the win we had over them at the event on Saturday, is Dota at that level against a team like NLD, it really boils down to the team decisions, you know. The laning phase is basically be like a couple CS above the other, you know, probably a kill or two. And those factors rel negligible when it comes down to the big team swings now. Because in team fights, you make, let's say someone gets caught off or a team fight happens, a forced team fight, those that goal difference and experience difference as a result is kind of dictate the pace of the mid game. And against NLD, you never know. It really boils down to any moment. You could prep as much as you want to prep, and yet it could still go the wrong way if someone gets caught off. So you had to be on your P's and Q's all the time. So confident, yeah, in terms of our communication, but it was still anyone's game going into the finals. So yeah.
Okay. Um, okay, so far this interview has been going on for about 5 minutes,
Okay.
and you've stressed a lot on your team communication. So I'm gonna just take that off the bat as you think that that's your greatest strength as a team. Um,
It was our greatest weakness.
your communication was also your greatest weakness. Now, my next question actually was gonna be,
Mhm.
what do you think as a team DB's weaknesses are, and what do you think are your strengths?
All right, I'm gonna just dwell on this a little bit here. Our weaknesses, apart from initially, like, I mean, we got 5-0 once, right? We got washed once, so clearly there was something wrong. I can't be the individual skill because we're all up there. It has to be the team skill. Like I said, I really like to use this analogy, the Voltron, right?
Hmm.
Dota is literally like a Voltron because
Yeah.
you have the head, you have the two arms, you have the two legs as the five man there. And if you're not moving with that synergy, that symphony of skills, you're basically just a pop team. You're just there, and it could probably get you. You're winging it. But if you that's what I believe that's what Dota really is. Now, it's a team game. Is about not just individual skill. At a certain level in competitive Dota, individual skill just disappear. I mean, all the skills, all the players, skilled players, would be at a certain level already. It boils down to the team plays now and the team calls. So if you don't have anyone, that's why I think that a captain is really important to try and make those big team calls. Not to say that I alone make those calls. It's about listening to the opinions and counter arguing them in the heat of the moment. That not everyone split with a decision, and that's where we used to falter. That was one of our greatest weaknesses. We like Smith might suggest, you want to go top and push this tower, and some might Shen or something might agree, or I might want to finish up this item here. Next minute, Shen and Smith get takeout top. You know, those kind of moments just ruin the game. And if you're not moving coherently, it could make or break the sweat. And I believe that we worked on that. We really tried to communicate the smallest of details, like from whether it be you're going to check rune or someone missing from the lane early game, or what items someone may have, or he almost finished this. Those little bits of information could help form a real calculated decision as to whether to make the next big play. Like the Roshan call it, using this as a reference. That last game, we were getting destroyed.
Right, that's the
Our
Buggy
laning
Hunter game,
phase.
right? Yeah, that was my absolute favorite game of the tournament. Y'all got
What? My
wrecked.
God. That if that didn't display the teamwork that we have, I don't know what will, because it showed that the laning phase we got destroyed. We literally were at a point where we have to wait for them to make a mistake. And we were just playing catch back up. They were way ahead in the lead. I actually watched over the replay, and I was surprised at how much Lex actually gets it. And I mean, it was very late in the night, not using as an excuse. Everybody was tired. But, you know, Nazco's getting caught out a lot, very uncharacteristic of him. Um, certain plays was just, I mean, things was just falling apart, no. But when we saw them, we just happened. That's again how Roshan, I mean, how Dota is really about seizing the opportunity. Had it been any second or a couple seconds later that we hesitated to go on this decision, the game would have been completely different. But when we got a glimpse of them by the Roshan, I already knew, based on their lineup, that Roshan, they only have one real DPS dealer, which is Bloodseeker, maybe Leshrac, Diabolic Edict, right? They're going to be bleeding trying to take out that Roshan. So it's either we go now and deal with them, or we let them get a free Roshan. And I tell you, everything is be coordinating while so all this is seconds, right? You saw that they going into the pit. Um, Everyone was nearby. We started to everybody get together. Shen already said, Daryl, put up a power shot so I could get a track on it. You know, those little simple details could real make or break the game. I already had my BKB. I knew I could just rip out to and do some damage. Roshan already was doing work. And those little calls is really make a big difference now. And it goes back to, like I said, the strength that we worked on, which was one of our greatest weaknesses, which was communication. Apart from that, we used to also try to force fights and not farm. NLD team, they are very strong ricers. Not just like it's not to say there's just ricer. Don't get me wrong. They they also make plays and they punish people out of position. But Azim is one of the greatest DPM people I know are in Trinidad. I mean, the guy does always get to see us on point. Blaze as well as our offlane. Oh my god, this guy does pull out some big items and still be in plays now, you know? So that's something that we needed to work on as a team. We used to do well in the laner phase, but when mid game comes, we would try to make too much plays. We would be walking around the map. Meanwhile, these guys just dodging us and farming, you know, and we losing on the goal per minute because we just walking around, no one farming. And that's something we worked on. We realized that no, you don't always need to try and make a play. You need to sometimes maintain your lead, go on farm, and that's something we worked on. But those were our weaknesses: communication and trying to force fights.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's fair. Uh, I'm really sorry to interject that, but we have a really short message from Shannon, so I'm just gonna hand it over to him very quickly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Hopefully, I wouldn't drop while I'm saying this. Just want to let you guys know, those of you all who are watching, for the question and answer section, right? When you're looking at the Hangouts, right, on the YouTube link, you would see in the description as well as the posted on the page and the various groups. There's a link to the actual Google Plus / Hangouts link. When you open that link, you will see the question and answer tab. It's a little blue Q&A button. You click on that button if it's not already activated, and you will see the option there to ask questions. And what you should be seeing in my stream here, this question and answer tab, you will see someone ask a question time, and we will actually see the questions there, as well as those here in the interview with us. So Amir, Diana, Raja, and myself would see the questions there. So during the interview, like, we would have a section later on where we would ask for direct questions to be posted to either Amir or ourselves. However, during the interview, if you all want to post your questions, feel free to post them there. We will address them as
Yeah,
soon as we
man.
can, and when we do, you'll notice if we address the questions. All right. So, well, back to Diana. Any other questions about what I just said? Feel free to post.
By
Okay,
the way, guys, am I sounding too loud or
you
anything?
sound
No, no, no. You're
perfectly
great.
fine. You're perfectly
Ah,
fine.
okay.
Kat, as you mentioned that last game, like, I mean, this has absolutely
Right.
nothing to do with the interviewer, but just personally, from my point of
Yeah.
view, you all showed remarkable composure as a team. And it's like a level of
Oh,
composure
thank
that
you.
I don't think that I've seen from any team
We
at any point in
appreciate
time.
that.
No, it
Appreciate
was
that compliment,
honestly, it was
but
remarkable because I watched the replay
mhm,
over the very next day, and
mhm.
I knew you all were getting relics in the beginning, and
Yeah.
it was very late. It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I just in my head, I mean, I'm very sleepy, and I'm thinking of whatever bounty tracker world. But then,
Yeah.
to actually look over the replay with a clear mind, being alert and that kind of thing, and see, what you all did to come back from such a huge deficit. It was
Mhm.
it was very, very impressive. That
And
game,
that's Dota for you. That's
yeah,
Dota for you. Yeah. You
yeah.
can't. In pubs, people against stump like that would give up and go AFK, right?
hmm
But if you even watch on competitive level, sometimes scores like that happen, and it's not the end of the game. Definitely not. I believe the end, if ever, is really when you breach your racks, and the goal difference is really noticeable. But it wasn't at that point yet,
Right.
and there's always hope when it's not at that point. So why panic? Just keep your composure. You never know what can happen, and yeah.
Especially with the combat mechanic that exists in Dota now. It
Yep.
makes
Thank you as
coming back
well.
from a deficit like that so much easier. And
So
what you
much
just
more.
what you were just saying about how people in pubs will want to give up. Like yesterday, a friend of mine who plays Hon on a regular basis, there's the concede option in Hon, right? He
Yep.
came in and he was playing a game of Ribbon and he was like, but why haven't they put in a concede option
I
as yet?
can't see it.
And I was trying to explain to him
Mm-hmm.
is that maybe in Hon you would concede at this point in time, but the way how the comeback
Mm-hmm.
mechanic is built into Dota, one team fight could swing a game
It's
because you get
yeah,
so much experience, you get so much goal, and you get that
you
advantage.
do,
You win a team
and
fight
that's
on a
good.
opposing team, and you get Roshan, and
I,
you could take a
I,
racks.
I really like that change they made because first of all, when another team is already ahead so much, it's already hard to kill them. So it should have some reward for actually killing them, and
Exactly.
that should be more goal, more experience. Otherwise, the game is just going to be totally one-sided once a few mistakes happen. And, don't have real metaphors on meaning like life, dog. Just because you make a couple of mistakes, it can't be the end now. You had to just keep on and focus and try. And that is your own perseverance. And, you just have to be sharp. It's really a game that, so much can happen in 4 seconds. 4 seconds is literally a long time in Dota. And it rewards those that see the opportunities and take advantage of them. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, we spoke about how NLD, they're good racers, and not just racing without purpose. What do you think? What do you think? Honestly, yeah, I mean, you don't need to worry about treading on anybody's
Mm-hmm.
feelings. Why do you think NLD lost
Yeah, I'm very
here?
raw.
And why do you
All
think they
right.
lost? And what do you think their weaknesses are as a team?
Okay. Well, like that last game there, um, anything could have happened. So it's really hard to define any one moment. I mean, run root problem as a team that they need to work on. Like that was purely opportunity. If they didn't make that call, perhaps the game would have. If they played their characteristic, passive, keeping the advantage type of play, then we would have probably never had opportunity to turn back the game. Not saying that they took more chances, but definitely this Tony, what I liked, Azim was a lot more involved in the team fights. I noticed that he made a lot more effort to be with the team. And before that used to be a weakness that we tried to abuse. We would know, okay, well, Azim probably found it somewhere. So we could force a tower here and he may TP in at the last second or something. And that is something that kind of happened with the top rocks in the last game. He was still bought by the tier 2 on our side. Hold on, just yeah. He was still in the bot rocks at that time. And well, we just capitalized on the moment. We tried to keep our positioning, and we managed to get out. But that's kind of a weakness. Like they, it really hard to describe because they're such a good team. It really hard to pinpoint any real weaknesses. But I'll go on their supports as well. Kareem and Jimmy, they ward excellent. No one can dispute that. They support the shit out of the early game. But then mid game, I would say they tend to fall off. They don't get items. If they try to be around Azim and protect them, which it has its merits. But if nothing is happening, you're just getting poor. You know, our like Smurf on our side. Smurf is our hardcore support. Not only does he ward, but Smurf gets items. He tries to take risk and do something uncharacteristic that I mean not uncharacteristic but something unexpected or that might make a call, and I really don't know the chemistry or what they talk about on their side, but I would say that's probably a weakness where the support's just there stagnant, not really getting anything and trying to ward too much. Um, as well as maybe as he might be farming a little too much. But I didn't notice that this Tony, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint anything that went wrong. Like it could have went any way this Tony, so you can't really brag and say, well, they have these weak areas. But before, I could say it was noticeably um, prioritizing farming over objectives. And Dota is a game where you really need to, after certain key points, you could either stretch your game into the late game by just farming and not taking up the opportunities, or you could force people's hands with the items they have already. And that's what we try to do a lot. When we know we have certain key items, we say, yo, it's time. There's no reason to stick around. Let's get the smoke up. Let's do what we have to do, you know?
Right.
And I think that's a weakness on their end where they might tend to just go with the flow. And when they probably get certain real big items, like real late game is more their strong point, in my opinion. And if we don't carry the game late game and try to end it mid game, that's where they usually falter. Because Azim and Faraz, they will get their items if you let that the 45-minute mark. They will be so paid on. Even if you look at the CS in the last game, Azim still had more with all those deaths he had. He was still real high in CS, and it just goes to show that having CS at a certain point doesn't matter if the team getting rolled, you know.
I understand. I understand completely. That
But just to
that's a
summarize,
diplomatic answer. Like,
sorry. Hello.
yeah, you heard me properly.
Wait, that's not my headphones giving problems. Anyway, Sky, you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying that that answer is such a diplomatic answer. I mean,
It
you mentioned
is.
about
You can't.
objectives earlier, and my conversation with Azim earlier tonight, I mentioned something Rahul said in his cast in one of the games actually that happened the night of that best of five. And it was that, like you said, NLD, they are amazing farmers. They always outfarm their opponents within the
Yeah.
first 20, 25 minutes of the game. They are always ahead in farm. And DB
Hmm.
is supremely objective based. They're an objective based team. Like
Yeah.
your rotations of taking, let's say, bot tower, your entire
Yeah.
team rotates to top. Everybody TPs to that T1 top, and then you all take,
Hmm.
the enemy T1, and then it's a rotation mid, and then after you all take out the
Yeah.
T1, you
Uh-huh.
smoke and go into the enemy jungle. Like that's what you do.
Yeah, that you see those calls, people would think is just probably me making it, but no, our team, everyone has an opinion. Shan especially, my God, Shan is a great guy, a great player. He suggests a lot of plays. Daryl as well. Even Smurf. I mean, everyone talks. That's the beauty of our team now. Nazco as well. Communication again, like I said, is key, and the important thing is not to have too many conflicting opinions. You need to decide in that moment which one makes the most sense, and you would never know if nobody talking, then you would never know what people thinking. So I really try to emphasize that on our team, like pre-games or post-games. I always try to comment on where we were lacking, why we didn't say that, why you didn't tell me that, you know. And
Hmm.
that communication, like I say, is really paramount to success now, especially in games like these, because if you only slip and hesitate, a couple seconds could be the difference between losing someone, but who was waiting for a play that he thought was going to happen, and it never came, and he just died because he waited there for the team. Like that happens sometimes in some of the games. Like we would be a little too indecisive, but we're working on that, and I believe that's what all teams should strive for: strong communication, because
I
any team,
understand.
all teams have the potential to be top tier players. I mean, working on the in-game mechanics like CS and learning the which hero combos work, those things anyone could pick up. But you see, what is, like I said, there's a skill cap individually, and then it comes down to team play on those high levels. And if you want to be a good team, you just have to be a actual good team as well. Yeah, a good team. Yeah.
Okay. Um, this question, I had originally planned to ask my list of questions and then do community Q&A. But there's a really interesting question from Chad, and I think it's very
Char.
appropriate right now. And
Chard, man, what's up, bruh?
yeah, he asks, do you place more emphasis on playing your strategy or do you actively adapt your draft to match your opponent's picks and bans?
Actively adapt. Without even hearing the rest of that question, actively adapt. You could have a strategy going in, and then someone just ban one of the core heroes in that strategy. You need to actively. Every game is unique to its own. I mean, there will be certain heroes that you'll try to get always because you're comfortable practicing them, right? Like I might always shoot for a Quap or a Lina or something. Um, Shen loves to play Tusk Room or even BH. Pyro likes Clockwork. Alyssa, I mean, your hero pool individually needs to be good as well, but each draft is unique. It depends on what you think they're going for, and you just have to adapt. I mean, we might pull out a hero that we never even practiced as a team, but it might just seem good for the draft at the time. And another key thing is item builds. I remember hearing in Azim's interview, a key point he made was that item builds no longer stagnant, and they're very it's okay to really build situationally. Like there's no fixed item build on any one hero anymore, and that's another key thing that you need to pay attention, and you should also think about in your time in drafting. Like as you see the heroes being picked up, you already have an idea what kind of items they're going for, or what kind of items you should get to counter those abilities. Like simple thing, if an enemy team takes Clockwork, you need a 4 staff, otherwise that's an easy kill on anybody who gets picked off by Clockwork, right? So
Mm-hmm.
simple things like that are things that we consider, and we would designate a person on our side to get those items, like a medallion on Shen, or yo, we need that Glimmer Cape Smith. Make sure we're gonna. So those are key things you need to do as well, and it's definitely highly adaptable. Jared, brother.
Charles Dixon.
Okay. Okay, all right. As we on that note about things that are essential in a team, there's a
Yeah.
question from Helton, and he asks, "What do you think is the most,
Kelton.
yeah, is the most valuable attribute in a winning team?"
Again, oh, you can guess this one. Can the class guess this one?
Communication. That's what I would say.
Communication.
Yeah, figured.
It's communication for
Good
sure.
communication.
Let me be more precise with that. I'm talking about play-by-play community. I want to hear everything. I need to have that like second nature on my side. I need to hear like our team. If you ever
You hear
listen
that,
to our Skype
Charles?
call, if you ever hear our Skype call, from time your team mute, you're lost. I tell you that one time.
Exactly.
You're lost
Communication
because
is always
how the
key.
hell are you supposed to mind read this man unless you're playing for rally years and somehow ever seen and that didn't even work because me, Pyro and Shen, we call ourselves the trifecta. We playing long time together, like real long time. And we still lost 5-0 against LLD. But when we worked on that communication, like I'm talking about, we literally smallest of details, like I need 50 goal again, or the room gonna spot up, I'm coming top. Can you walk top, Cat? No, okay, I'm not coming. Like real simple things like that could make the difference between getting caught out and helping your partner or finishing a kill or something like that. Simple things. Just talk, man. And you get
If you could
that's
choose any role in game, Kat, besides the
yeah.
role that you currently play, or even it could even be the role that you currently play, if you could choose to play anything, what role would you play and why?
Besides the current role I play,
Yes.
okay, well, it will be probably offlane or support, because I believe carrying is one of the easiest things to do if you
Uh-huh.
have the right support. Because a supporters dictate the pace of the early game. A carry just needs to farm, you know. If your support real passive and not really doing anything, then he kind of failed. Now. Yeah. Some people have the idea that supports just need to ward, and they put all the pressure on the carry that they supposedly babysit all early game. But support's real paramount to the success of the game. That's why Smurf is so critical on our side. Now, Smurf is a brilliant player. He could play any role. Shen as well, you know this. Shen could play carry, mid, off, anything. But he chose the role of fourth because
What's
he
the
knows
role in
how
formation?
critical. Yeah, that role is so critical. If Shen
It
is
is.
not applying that constant pressure of where am I? You don't know if I come in mid, if I come in top, if I come in bot. the game would be like what NLD may have wanted it to be, like what they accustomed it to being, like a normal trial. Okay, Azima gets safe farm and let's roll this game. But the support really makes a difference because they dictate whether Blaze gets experience. They dictate whether Azim gets a free farm, and I would like to play that role or offlane because again offlane could either be a cell like oh gosh I'm just dead guys
Hence the name
I'm three men
Suicide
on the
Lane.
team. Yeah, you understand? So if you're offlane just down and bitching all the time, then it's a problem. But if you have an offlane like now, Pyro is a playmaker. People think I heard also in the stream before, as you mentioned, that Pyro probably have a small hero pool because we always pick certain heroes for him, right? But the truth is, Pyro actually could play a lot of different heroes. It's just those heroes are real skill shot centered heroes like Clockwork, Windrunner. Not everyone can learn a Shackle, you know that. Not everyone can learn a perfect rocket snipe or something, or a hook. Pyro is a playmaker, and if you look at that last game, Pyro was real critical to the success of the final game. If
Yeah,
Pyro
them
didn't land
shackles
certain
was
shackles, I'm talking about like literally, if Pyro didn't land certain shackles, the game was done. NLD would have get a kill on somebody. I mean, Azim would have get a kill on someone, and that would have been the extra goal that these little butterfly effects could snowball later on, and they could have won the game. That's to show you how critical plays are made and how essential they are to victory. But I would definitely like to play offlane or support because I'm a playmaker too, man. And I like to take chances, and those are exciting roles to play. Mid is pretty. Mid is good as a one-on-one test, but if you have good supports that rotate as well, it doesn't be one-on-one anymore, and they could destroy the game. So definitely fourth position or third position for me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, now my next question has three parts. All right.
Yeah.
So my first part one of my question is, who is DB's MVP?
Who's DB's MVP? Wow, that's
Yes.
so many big players on our side. Yeah?
That's my first question.
Damn, it's so
Put him on the
hard.
spot.
I will have to say for this tourney,
Yes.
it will have to be Pyro because Pyro literally saved that last game, and he always making plays. You watch every game, you see Pyro doing some kind of play. But it's so hard to just choose Pyro because everyone critical. Smurf was amazing with his Winter Wyvern. He actually forced NLD to start banning Wyvern. And I mean, everyone is so good, it's really hard to choose one, but you put me on a spot there, right? I'll just have to go with Pyro.
On that note,
Like it
right?
ex-
You all had like a major roster change before ESCL.
Oof, boy. Your roster went all how and in the crevices of the Dota pool and outs and everywhere. But no, all jokes aside, we I think we're feeling really strong with the squad. But previous DB members, Hans is actually my brother, right?
Mhm.
And Hans is a good player, but again, the problem with Hans is that he doesn't talk. He doesn't
When you
talk.
to the right,
And
is there
it's-
any next room hit into clout?
But I just wanna reach inside the screen and squeeze him away, but it can't happen, and that's not gonna win the game. The man, Hans, he has his own style and he has his own. Hans is a great pop player. But on a team, or at least on our team, he's not gonna work because we need to know what you're doing. Let's say four of us making a play, Hans might be somewhere farming. I wouldn't tell us that he's not coming. And those things
Communication is key.
is real key to victory, and that's why we love Smurf because Smurf real talking, he making plays, and anyone can be a good player, no? But is a team player is what is essential in Dota. So and Gops and Jorel, those were the other two members we had before. Gops is a great player, but again, Gups is new to the competitive scene. He's a great player. To me personally, Gups is a great player. Shout out, man. What's up? He understands lots of things in game mechanics and thing, but again, we need someone that on the same wavelength. So it goes back to communication. And well, Jorel, You know, Sky, you had your way with Jarrell in that Tony, that lich. Tasted that lich.
Man, get
Jarrell
instant
is a
kicks,
high
man.
man, right? No jokes aside. Jarrell is be playing super high. He, it just wasn't
Alright.
cutting it now. Right? All right.
Okay, so the second and third parts of my questions, second and
Yeah.
third parts of my question. I asked you about DB's MVP. I want to know who you think is NLD's MVP, and then
NLT's MVP.
if there's a player that is not on either of DB or NLD, if they are tournament MVP. Do you have a player that's tournament MVP? Those are my two.
Um. Okay. First, going to the first part. NLT MVP.
Mhm.
It's very easy to say Azim, right? Because he literally is a force. He doesn't make mistakes. Hardly ever makes mistakes, and he punishes people out of position. He's a great player all around. He gets his farm, but Faraz as well. You know, Faraz is he's played good and he's a stable mid player. Um, and he gets his items as well. I mean, I would definitely have to go for Azim. You know, he is definitely the strongest player on his side. Some may even say he's carried the team, right? But they all have their merits. I mean, it is not again, it's not one person that could be the whole squad. So, but yeah, you put me on the spot again, so I'll have to say Azim. And as far as the tournament goes, um, Cole is pretty good, you know, and Pizza as well. Um, Punjete. They have a lot of great players out there, but in the tournament, I have to go with Skia. Why Skia too? You know, Skia has some players, man.
You see, no, you need to pick one though, because
Yeah.
you can't call out
That's
everybody in the
real
community
unfair. But you know
there.
what? I have
So,
a big heart. I have a big heart, and I love the
I
universal
Well, it's
know,
just
too.
for
but you
this
need to
tournament.
pick
There will be other
one.
tournaments, and there could be another MVP for that tournament. So,
MVP of the tournament will have to be Sue, boy. Sue.
Sue?
I had to be Sue. That me pro.
so
That
probably
me
just flip.
Me pro, me
Super.
pro,
The
me
me,
pro.
the me pro. The me pro was too good. I mean, they didn't win, but it was good to see that ballsy pick being there. Yeah, so you get the MVP for that
Okay.
one.
Who else do you think? Now, this is a question from Katachi. Who else do you think?
Tachi-sama!
Yes, Katachi-sama. Who else do you think could play your role on DB?
Mid roll.
Yes,
On my side, who else on
yes,
my team?
on your team.
Yeah, anybody. But most
Yeah.
likely it would be Shen. It would be
Okay,
Shen.
okay. All right, that's fair enough. And now this crossed my mind earlier, and I was waiting for the opportune time to ask it. Is Smurf a permanent addition to DB?
As far as we are concerned, yes, because he
All
fits in.
right.
There's no reason to switch Smurf. Smurf is a brethren from before and all. Yeah, actually, before he joined the other team, remember he was on Nerd's team before, right?
Yes, yes, I remember.
I was talking this over about coming across a long time now. So this was
Yeah,
in the
yeah, I told
making
it on
a
transfer
while.
season.
The player sniped
Yeah,
it
that's
away.
not exactly. I already done pay my million for Smurf and I was waiting in the corner. So
Okay.
Smurf is definitely a DB member. If anyone wants to know, no, too bad, man. He's staying here. He's not jumping.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm glad that we know that now. So Smith is officially off the market. He's
Well,
Officially
not
no more
single and
off
Smurf
the
attached and
cameos.
market.
unengaged.
Roger?
Um.
That's my Smurf. Get all your own Smurf somewhere. That's my Smurf.
Okay. So let's see. I don't think, with respect to GamesCon, we have any more serious questions left. So we're going to move into community questions and some of my comfort zone questions. Similar to the questions
All
that I asked
right.
with Zim, okay? So,
Yeah.
first off, who's your favorite pro player?
Pro player, man. I mean, RTZ is entertaining, right? But I have to say Universe, yo.
Okay, best
That
of him.
guy.
Okay.
Universe.
What? Universe is a playmaker. If you ever watch some of his like
If
this
it wasn't
YouTube
for Puppy, he'd
Universe,
have been number one.
Yeah, we love Universe.
Puppy's great, but Universe is just dog. The guy is high skilled. Like he does things like he would force off a man and then hook shot him. You know, like
Yes,
it's
us.
crazy. The guy is
Best
just
void in the
insane.
world. The best kernels you'll ever see.
Yeah, the guy is honestly my
He
most.
ballsy.
I love to watch
He
him.
have
He's
real
my
balls.
most. Yeah, that's what makes good players. The people that do things that they'll be by your tier two when you walking out real safe. You not even watching on the map because he's so safe and you dead. That's the kind of players Universe and thing this be. So I like him. I love him. I want to
What's
be
that
him.
jacket?
Okay, all right. Um, okay, so now you have a habit of when I ask you to choose one person, you choose 16, okay? This time
Yes.
you need to choose one. You
Literally
need to choose.
16.
You literally need to choose one, okay?
Literally.
Okay.
Choose. To choose a dream team. You have to make a dream team from among the Trinidadian players. None
Hmm.
of your teammates on DB can be included. You can include
Okay,
yourself if
well
you want.
that's a lot less stress. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Um.
So who is the dream team? And you need to tell me what positions that they're gonna play.
Okay. I gotta call up a real old name here. People gotta say, wait a monster, alright?
He called
But
Wolf.
he Wolf is a good player, but I was thinking, you see, Rad? I love Rados.
You mean
Rad
if
is
he
a great
actually
player.
manages to show up to a tournament or a game? What he does manage to
Let's
show up
just
his
say
game?
in some parallel universe, Rad is punctual, is committed to the cause, is on time, right? Rad would
Okay.
In a parallel
definitely
universe, he mightn't be as good, right?
Okay.
By
So
the way,
what
Rad
Amir,
position?
is
What
this
position
Rad the
you gonna
same
have
the
Rad
real?
playing?
Sorry, I cut you off
was
there.
that sorry?
What
What's
Is
the
the
question?
Rad
I
that
position?
didn't
you're
hear it.
referring to? Is it the same real Rad from back in the day?
The
Or is
real
it
Rad,
another?
yes. The
Okay,
real
alright.
Rad is the only Rad. Come again, please. That's Rad.
Alright.
He would play fourth off lane because he's a playmaker. You know, I don't need him on a passive role like carrying. Rad would get frustrated, so I'll have him
Okay.
on fourth.
All right. So Rad is
Um,
4.
okay. Whew. Azim, definitely for sure. He would be on the squad. He will have to
1 or
be
2?
carry or mid.
Yeah, I figured. One.
He will have
Okay.
to.
As so his name is 1
Yeah.
and 2.
I mean, you can't dispute. A lot of people in the community don't like him because of the image he portrays, which we know is not really him, right? But there could be, and I hope he works on it. That the tilt that you see sometimes. But apart from that, he's a great player, and no one can dispute that. He's an excellent player. So he would definitely be on a dream team.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be him and Rad. I don't know how that chemistry would be, but
That sounds so self-destructive right now, but go ahead. So you
can we
have
get some
your
time to think about
It's like a
it?
disposable team. Play one game and that's it.
Okay, so we have probably Azimon. Let's give him carry. Yes, cool.
right.
Cool
Okay.
would be mid. Cool would be mid. Cool Doto. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
take Cool Doto for
Right. So
sure.
you still have your position 5 and your offlane.
Offlane is Rad.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our position 4 and
Yeah.
5, right?
4 and 5.
Okay. Definitely Peter, Yoda. Yoda will be 4.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And 5, my God, so many support players in the world of Dota. Um, Lucky Schwarm? Nah, I was just joking. I was joking. I was joking. Now relax. Not today. Support. Any suggestions? I guess. Am I allowed suggestions?
No.
Um,
You're not allowed
no, you're not.
suggestions.
You're not.
Hard luck.
I mean, I'll tell you the same thing I told Azim. Like, you should pick me as 5. So, I mean, you could always use a lich.
Sky, of course, we can
You see
always do
this
that.
bandwagon
You could
thing that
always use a
what
lich,
is
This is
right?
Lucas.
But I mean, for us, he's a great player too. You can't really exclude him, right? But I don't think he would play support anyway, so I had to choose a support. Um, those dedicated support players. Kareem is good. Kareem does get the job done.
Yeah, that ES ban right through.
Oh God, there again. See, we permanently have a spot reserved for Kareem every time we draft him. No.
Okay. So that is your dream team, Kareem.
That's the dream spot because
Okay.
it's like no DB members. So
No, no DB members.
You
Absolutely
know
not.
who you're
runners up.
missing,
I can
Amir?
mention some run-ups.
You're
Yeah,
missing
well,
Ryan.
well, before
That's
you
what you're
do
missing.
runner-ups, right?
Ryan,
Before you do
Heavy
runner-ups, Samir,
illusionist.
I was going to ask you, who do you think is the best mid-carry offlane and support in the country?
The country mid carry
Yeah,
off there.
offlane and support. And feel free to mention all your runner-ups.
Okay, all right. Well, Nerds was a run up there in that last draft. Sorry, Nerds. But okay. So mid player. I'm gonna exclude myself from all of these things just to avoid controversy, right? We're going for the community. But mid, that's a close call. See, Cole have real potential, yo. I'd give Cole that one.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Kari, Azim, without even thinking. Nasco a close run up. My God, Nasco. Probably in a couple of games, Nasco will be. Nasco. Let me give a little history about Nasco, right? A lot of y'all may not know about Nasco, right? He just came on the scene all of a sudden. You saw him on DB. He was like, "Who's this Nasco?" Right?
Yeah.
Nasco's a 17-year-old guy who started playing Dota last year, September. First game ever was last year, September.
What the
He
hell?
started. He was 2K last year, September. He's 5K this year, September. You understand? You see that learning curve? You understand that? You could comprehend that learning curve.
What we're
Nasco could probably be 6K.
is that what I realized is, remember back in the day when we started playing, right? Back even before Initiation and so on. When we used to play, it didn't have rules. We just used to pick a hero we thought was hard.
Yeah, we just
and
exactly.
play.
We would exactly. So the years don't really matter as to how much we learn because
So
we
when they
really
commented
were just
no,
playing.
exactly. When they commented no, where the competitive scene existing, where they start learning with the competitive
Yeah.
guide, then it's easier for them to pick on. Plus, they're younger, so their minds are developed. It's interesting to see how well people adapt.
Yeah, it's a whole new ball game right now because now they come in a community where it have MMR already, right? We didn't have MMR, we didn't care, we didn't know, we just rank. I didn't even think that was ranking. That was just.
There was just the TDA online through Battle.net. Once I get into TDA, that was like your reach.
And Garena was probably the closest thing to ranking when they introduced it a couple of years later with the whole best in your country kind of feeling, right? Back then, me and Sin used to be balling. Me and Sin was on the top. I remember seeing, that's when I first noticed Sin. Sin was right under me for #1 position in Trinidad and Garena, right? Because you used to count your wins, right? Which wasn't even a good real indicator. They need to work on this situation because sometimes you might actually get carried and it's not really your virtue, you know. But anyway, real drifting, boy. What was your original question? Right, Azim, and then I said Nazco.
Azim, yes, it's Nazco.
Right.
So second.
Nazco, definitely
Offlane.
look out for him, guys.
You need offlane and support.
Okay, so.
You already did mid and carry.
Mid and carry. Offlane,
yeah, you have mid and carry, offlane.
Oof, I had to give it to my boy Pyro, you know.
Okay.
Pyro, hands down, or Blaze, close run up, definitely.
Okay.
Blaze
Alright.
is arguably excellent, yeah.
Yeah, that I agree fully with those two answers, Blaze and Pyro. For me, in that order.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, Blaze has done some ridiculous things. Like, who runs offlane tiny?
Yeah.
Nobody
Blaze
does
is
that.
killed. Yeah.
Crazy.
Blaze, when he was playing Tide, against, I can't remember which team it was in the GamesCon. I was against Sue on them, whichever team Sue was on, right?
Yeah, he was on Jam.
That Tide destroyed everything. That offlane destroyed the whole safe lane that was supposed to be strong, right? I mean, Blaze is a player, and even in the final game, Blaze killed Shenlong solo. He was making well plays with the Darkseid, you know. He's definitely a player that not only applies pressure, but he gets his items. No? I was surprised when I saw him with a hat on Phoenix in some random game. I can't remember. Uh, and that's his true. He's a good player. Pyro, but I just had to give it to Pyro because I played with him and I know Pyro's make insane plays. And what he has been working on recently was, you see, when Pyro dies, it's not that he get caught off. Pyro's just be trying to make so much plays that he's put himself in situations that is end up, it either work or you're dead, and then he's dying. But he's working on that consistency, and I definitely see him on a dream team. So we have Azim on carry, we have Cole in mid, we have Pyro off, and I said we had Yoda, right?
Yes.
Did I call
And
you?
You that fought Kareem at
for
fifth and Blaze off lane?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Pyro off lane. Well, that's the
You
dream
know,
squad.
Amir, every time
Yo.
you say cool, I know who you're speaking about it, but I keep thinking cool sheep.
Well, cool sheep boy. Well, you see, a lot of people won't know these names, but
Yeah.
these are some pillars in the community that just had to deal with life, and
He would come to assure you. Yes, it would.
my God, hey, it's good to see people. What I like about the GamesCon and what I know will happen in future tourneys is that a lot of the older heads will be coming back out, whether it is to participate or to
Or to
spectate.
spectate.
And that's good I mean, it's something you share. Like, not everyone know how to play football to like football. You could just be there just for the community's sake. And I see that happening, definitely. And that's one of the things I want to definitely be a part of, whether it is on the competitive scene or if it's in the background like you guys. I am all for the Dota pushing out because I always say if chess could be an international thing, why Dota can't be an international thing? Better sit down and watch two people on a board moving pieces. Why I can't watch five people wrecking and destroying each other? Strategically.
Just one thing I want to remind you, Amir. On the left-hand side of the Hangout, you can actually click the question and answer button, the little blue button there, and you can actually see the question posted by the committee. And
Right.
you can choose which one, if you see one that you want to answer immediately or scroll through the answer, and we will just highlight it.
But nobody else give me anything with the community,
You're
right?
not seeing
no, there are a ton of questions. There are literally a ton of questions.
Yeah, but yeah, literally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
How come you
6,
say
7.
everybody afraid me? Nobody like me.
Can you see the
Yeah.
questions?
You have a lot of questions over
I'm
here.
not seeing it. Okay, the blue icon, I click it. Q&A, right?
Yes.
Right.
Do you see any
Oh my
questions there?
God.
Okay.
Hold on, it now load up. Okay, right. Stefan Ali said, Dota at high caliber requires a lot of time. How do you manage school, girl, life, and general and gaming at
Wife,
the
not
same
girl,
time?
wife.
Yeah, it's wife, so that's even more time management, right? That's a brilliant question. I'm glad you asked that, Stefan Ali, because a lot of people take that for granted. The time you need to put into other things is not just Dota I doing, and it really boils down to your priorities. Dota is a priority in my life, so I will stay in the competitive scene, but you also have other priorities, like school, for instance, and you just need to know, well, I need to do this work, You have a girl, well, my wife, first of all, amazing person, obviously knows my passion for Dota, and that's not an easy thing to deal with. If you're in a relationship, you would know that that's time you put it in that you could have been spending with your wife. And she first of all needs to be very understanding, which she is. And you need to have that. You can't just always want to play. As Dota players, we could go all day, all night. But that's not how life is now. You have to really make a commitment, dedicate certain time slots in your life, whether it be for studying, whether it be for exercising, or whatever, and just stick with our routine and adjust it as things come in, as priorities come in. So I hope that answered the question. Anybody want to comment on that response?
No, we're listening. If have more questions over there, hopefully you can answer
Yeah, my
them.
boy here, Joshua. Yo, purple dog. That's Joel's brother, by the way, right? How far does DB want to go as a team with Dota? TI maybe? Well, that's a great question. And as much as we would aspire, because I have a big dream, trust me, well, you don't even know how much I love Dota. I love Dota so much that
You're talking
sometimes,
to us,
like, I
eh?
just,
I
Sorry,
think we all love
yeah,
it the same way. Trust me.
guys, yes, I know we clearly hear this is all happening because of the love of Dota. This whole
Yeah.
interview, everything. But
Mhm.
I have a real dream of obviously competing in TI, you know?
Right.
But that comes with time that I wish I had, but I really wish I had. And I'm not giving up on it, dog. We aspiring to reach there, of course, but life does happen, you know. You have to. Right now, I need a kinch. That's no easy thing. It's real work. It's time. And as far as I see it, when I have that time available again, I would definitely try because I don't see TI ending anytime soon. I think TI
Come
will be
back like the
going on
second
for
whole Mando
years.
2, Fear Vision
You
2.0.
understand? Like I'm be the first 30-some-year-old to win Dota TI. You understand?
By
I
the
don't know,
way,
maybe.
Dana is experiencing some technical difficulties. I believe she had a power
Oh,
outage, so she will jump back
probably.
in eventually.
Eventually.
We'll
I'll
handle it
answer
from
some of
here,
these
but
questions in
yeah,
this
yeah,
time. And then, Stefan Ali, relax for some questions here.
that's good.
Let me
We
see.
need the rest of you guys to ask questions. You would
Yeah, come now, fellas.
don't
Kristen,
bite.
anybody even don't play
No, yeah.
Dota? Yeah, what are you saying there, Roger?
No, it have other people who asking questions. It have
If
Nikki
for
asking
anybody who's
I
questions.
looking
probably
at
had
the
to
stream,
refresh the section.
yeah, anybody
Riaz.
who's looking at the stream and doesn't know how to ask questions, you need to go to the Google Plus link, which is posted within the YouTube video in the stream, as well as it's on the Tobago Data Community page, right? Just in case you didn't know.
Also, building on the prioritizing everything, like how you just juggle all those things, I actually plan to like start a blog just for gamers, not just probably Dota people, but to
I
try
remember
and
you
help.
saying that.
Which we're looking forward
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Really
I
looking
never
forward
got
to
around
that.
to doing it because of school and well wife and everything.
Mhm.
But it will be it is on the list of things to be done. And when I do start it, I want to try and help give that guidance because a lot of people could be salty in life, you know. And there's no
Mhm.
reason to really be down in life if you really. I mean, yes, shit does happen. Trust me, I know. But there's always a way to look at life with every moment that come in and embrace every moment, every opportunity, that chance to really be happy. And I want to try and share that message or at least teach people how to, as a gamer, how to balance everything and, still get the best out of life and your games. So let me go back to these questions here.
Right.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts about new Trini players, potential or no? That's a
That's a
question from
question
Stars
from the
Boba.
community.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Stars Boba.
What's Oh, that's Stars Boba. What are your thoughts about new Trini players, potential or no? Well, to be honest, that's one of the things I actually want to look into. I want to actually be more involved with the low tier players. And using that word just categorizing my MMR, but I believe everyone has the potential to be anything they want to be. And it doesn't matter what MMR you're at right now. Look at Nazco. Nazco was 2K last year. Nazco is 5K right now. It's all about what you want to be. And
Hmm.
Nazco
Here
really
to
wanted it,
shine.
and there he is. You understand? And I believe the potential is limitless. It all depends on the mentality of the Trini players. If you want
Part
to
of the
keep blaming the
cards.
pubs, oh well, you understand? If you want to blame the pubs all the time, well, boy, this man sell me in the game. But you will never reach anywhere because you need to know at that level you could carry the game if you really play right and don't listen to certain
Hmm.
people. I know
Ex-
his cancer, I know his AIDS. That level is AIDS. Everybody's tripping, everybody doing shit. But you could rise above the occasion and with the proper guidance and we should start to implement that in the community, guys, like a real kind of mentor system, something.
Well, yeah,
And
that's one of the things we're looking into.
so I see, to answer your question directly, Boba, Stars Boba, I definitely see potential.
your teammate Daryl Barrow, he asking a question over
Oh
there.
yeah. Fun fact, DB also means Darabara. Just saying. But what did he said? Kat, how important do you think being personal friends on a team helps the overall performance? It greatly helps. I think all team members should at least one point lime as friends to gain that synergy, to gain that understanding of each other's minds. Because when it
And to
comes down to
communicate.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When it comes down to was paramount to victory, it's communication. The
Exactly.
in-game mechanics, anyone could learn. You could go and practice CSing like you could practice boxing or something. Go in a practice match and you just learn how to CS, no problem. And you could watch some pro streams and gain some tips. But at the end of the day, it's going to boil along where your communication is important. So being personal friends helps. Why? It's not work. You're not going to office and you don't have to talk to nobody. This is our team. Be friends. Understand each other. Line. And
If
who
there's one
knows?
thing
Yeah.
that you could attest to as well, Amir, is that back in the day, we used to have a lot of in-person events, so everybody knew each other personally. I mean, I think that's
Yeah,
how
the
so
community
much of
was
us
so
know
much
each other now.
tighter.
And that's what we want to try to push. So even though a lot of our
Yes.
events are going to be online, we want to try to do these things in person. Like, I don't know if you would have known, but we've been saying it a while now. Like for not just the majors, not just a TI, even if it's ESCL one, even if it's some sort of major tournament where there's a finals. Once we can get a location and there's enough people to come out, just for even if it's a small line on a Sunday or something when there's a
Yeah.
finals, we're trying to do some
Yep.
viewings like that. So that's something we're looking forward to.
And I
Also, instead of
completely
just
agree
doing
with
the
that effort. I
right.
think the community should definitely be more out there, not just behind screens interacting. That has its merits, but trust me, when you get actually be with someone and you see, why not? You'd go out to watch a football match. Why not go out to enjoy some game at
Exactly.
home?
That is exactly it. Because
It's the same
people need
thing.
to realize that this is what it is, and we are a community, and for a community to thrive, we need to be
Yeah,
friends. It is,
we
yes,
need
you
to
have
be
healthy
friends.
competition, but and
Mm-hmm.
even though like what we plan to do month at least one event monthly, it doesn't necessarily have to be online. We can just go to, let's say we get a cyber cafe, everyone can attend. We do something small. It might just be 14 just to make it short. One day at least is something, to interact with the community.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that,
So it's things
guys,
to look
and
forward to.
everyone will always bring up some excuse, but they had some plan or whatever. Okay, well, that's great, all right. But if we'll try to make these scheduled events long in advance so you can plan ahead of your busy schedule and try to put some time out for this. Because you would like it when you come. You just have to get off your chair and come out and be part of what you love. Come on, guys, we're growing something here. This is the beginning of something great, or the potential for something great, and it really lies in the hands of everyone who loves Dota. I was really impressed. If you look at the little community for GamesCon, they came out in their
Yeah.
numbers. And I know Dota has a lot of players too, but we didn't show up like how they did. And it's sad because it just goes to show that even on Twitch, you see those numbers watching LOL, and then you see those numbers watching Dota. I guess it transcends into real life as well.
Hmm.
But let's change that, guys. Let's be a community.
All right, there's
Um,
something I was
Towards that.
wondering, and I know that the name Doom Buggy, I don't think it was answered before, right? It comes from the Doombringer in Hon, right? Is there actual story behind the Doom Buggy part,
Doombringer.
or
Oh man. Oh boy, that story is so good. First of all, Doombringer, as you would know, is the equivalent of the rapier
right?
in Hun, right? There was this one game I would never forget. None of us would ever forget. Where we were getting destroyed. I'm talking about we were in a game in Hun, and it was
Hmm.
me, Shen, and Pyro, the trifecta again, trying to cause it. And I believe Jimmy was on our team. Jimmy actually used to play a lot. Valsade Killer,
Was that
also known
NMS
as Mad
days?
Cause Bad. NMS days, even pre-NMS days, I can't remember. We just used to pop and be on Vent a lot. Remember when
Oh yeah,
Ventrilo
yeah,
was real active?
I know.
Ventrilo was a big thing in our life. I still use Ventrilo to check ping these days.
Trying to
But
get these kids to use that these days will be hard.
nah, we
At
had to
least.
use new things. But going
Hmm.
back to the story, we were in a game and we were getting destroyed. Shannon, I talk about these men were toying with us, and I had a hero that Dr. Repulse is the equivalent of Stone
Storm.
Spirit, right?
Hmm.
And I got a glimpse of the equivalent of Juggernaut, right? A
Swiftblade.
Unero.
Swiftblade.
Swiftblade, right? Swiftblade. And he had a Doombringer. Okay? And I knew at that point in the game, if we got this Doombringer, we would actually win the game. So I zip across halfway around the map, everyone jump on him, we kill him, and we got the Doombringer. And the score
Alright.
was something like 67-20. That's how bad we were losing, right?
Wow.
we came back from that game because of the Doombringer. And we actually made up a song because our team is just real low, so everybody's be laughing at us. Could be in Dota. Basically going a Doom Buggy, a Buggy Doom. Every time we kill somebody, a Doom Buggy, a Buggy Doom. And that just, we just remember that Doom Buggy, and we just stuck with it, though.
I am
That's a
sorry
funny
about the
story,
power
a
outage
little
just
back.
now, but
Then I came in
it
and I
seems
dropped.
to, yeah,
So
it
right
seems
back to
to be
Tambo
fine
then.
now. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it seems to be good now. So
We
It's
have
nice
some
to
okay,
hear the
questions
Doom
stacking
Buggy
up with you
story.
guys.
it
Oh, look,
seems
Yeah.
like
Riaz Hussein actually asked a community question straight down to the bottom. So, like, I don't know about anybody else, but DB was always on top of the game in the Trini community. So, the little people like us, speaking for myself, fed up of pubs, the Dota community gonna do anything to help us out.
Okay, well, Riaz, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I know Riaz personally too because I used to play with him in Hun and Nightlife. I think that was his tag. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, Riaz. But I mean, yes, the community is filled with toxic players, especially on low level games. And like I said, I mentioned to Shannon before. I don't know if you just tuned into the stream, but we actually want to start a mentor program. I really want to try to get the low. I want competitions. This is just an idea, but I want competitions with only low level teams where they actually have a chance of winning something, and it could breed more competition. We want to do
You mean
stuff
like a
to
tier
raise the
system?
bar of
Like
Trinidad.
amateur tournament or something like that.
Yes, a
Yeah,
tier
where
system.
we can't even compete in that because it makes no sense,
Yeah.
Let like only 2K, 3Ks, and eventually I want to start really queuing with some of these guys and see where they're going wrong and try to point out some things. So there are definitely a lot of ways to improve the quality of Dota, and we will work on it. Trust me, it's just to do it,
And from our point of view,
Right.
Riaz, I guess you would have seen from by now the things that we've been doing, how we're trying to do. Now, what a lot of people wouldn't understand is that things can happen overnight, and a lot of things need to be put in place. The groundwork there needs to be set before we can move on to greater things. So right now, what we're trying to do is create connections, create groundwork, build the community. The community is our main focus at the moment. Once we have a great community and we can do things, we would work well
Yeah.
with other people, guest sponsors coming in, partner with other companies and so on. So yes, the community is the TTDC was formed for the community. Simple put.
Community is so important. I need to just build a point on community. A lot of y'all may not know, but leading up to the finals, because I was in my apartment, right, in Newry, I don't have a stable connection, so I had to literally try to source somewhere to play. And one of the members from the community actually made a post in one of the groups, the casual Trinidad, I think, for if anyone in the area could help facilitate me for the tourney, right? I got a number of replies, which I'm very appreciative of, and again, that's showing the community coming together. And Kyle McCool, I think that's what, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your last name correct, but yeah, Kyle, KL, I just call him KL, right?
Me too, me too.
Me too.
Yeah, but it's pronounced Kyle, as I learned. I went by this guy. First time I'm line with him outside of, like, the Dota and thing. And this was leading to the practice towards the. I actually played a practice game by him leading up to the finals. And wow, his hospitality was over the top. I mean, Priya is his girlfriend. They cook rare food, but they had beers in the fridge. Again, a testimony to how the community could come together and just help out, not just in terms of levels, but you never know when you might be in a scratch and a man might be able to save you, and that could only come from being in a community. So yeah. Hello.
Yeah, we did listen
Oh.
to your stories. It's very
Oh
interesting
no, I
to
thought
do the
I, I
things.
thought I dropped there. I thought I dropped there because
Yeah, I know what you mean. I
uh,
agree to the same thing. Yeah.
okay. So
yeah.
Chad again asked, what games ladder is harder to climb, Hon or Dota?
Which game's ladder is harder to climb, Hon or Dota 2? I will have to say Dota 2 because
I
Hon,
agree.
you could pressure men in the earlys and they hit the concede button. Men would pray for that. You could end a game in 15 minutes. That was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
But in Dota 2, you had to play it out. And if I'm on tilt and stay tilt in your release, well, boy, your game done lost already. So, sweat bus and Dota 2 sometimes. And you know, some people get raged by couriers and just literally ruin the game. I would say
And
Dota 3
at the
ladder is
point in
definitely harder to
time,
climb.
I don't know if you played Hon recently, Amir, but Hon has changed a lot from how it used to be in the last year.
Mm.
I think it's going down. The quality is like what they do instead of
Of
nerfing a
course.
hero, they buff a hero
Uh-huh.
to balance the game. They don't nerf. They just buff everything. So
Huh.
you should see why also now he's
So
extremely
everything gets
overpowered.
strong.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, last time I played was actually with some friends that I'm a cousin. My cousin Jeremy loves to play Honey. He refuses to move across the Dota 2 because he says it's too slow, which we all know. Those who played Hon and moved to Dota 2, it is a little slower. But that's where the competition is, and you can't just stay in a real toxic. If it's any toxic environment, it's
Yes.
is of the mobile world. And that's the love until. Yeah, I want to stay in love until it's real hard to come out of love until
Plus, you could
succeed.
give a guy 50 creeps, right, in lane, and you take one of those creeps, and he will flame you for the rest of the game. You know? It's very
Right?
toxic in Hon.
Toxic all
So,
over.
Yes, it is.
but all that being said, it's easier to tilt someone in on and win the game if you're playing good. But I'll have to say, Dota, there's no concede button, so it is harder to climb the ladder. Let me see, Riaz. Will you play? Riaz Hussein said, "Will you play Dota with me? It would be nice to see more pro trainees in the
But that's
ML
Mikhail
scene.
saying that.
It might be frustrating, but I think. Oh, that's Mikhail. Oh, okay, Mikhail.
Yeah, I said Black Knight. I think that he meant his Hon name.
Oh, Black Knight. Yes. Oh, yeah. It was a Nightwish. It was Black Knight. Sorry, sorry, dog. Mikhail like Sokitachi-sama asks, "Will you play Dota with me?" Of course, man. I love you, bro. It would be nice to see more pro trainers in the in-house scene. Yes, I admit. We do avoid the in-house scene sometimes because we rather the real competition. No offense to the in-house scene, but you know when you're practicing and you only have so much time because I mean Dara work and I have school. Kind of hard to play casually sometimes if you're on the real competitive scene. And we always up for a professional game over in-house games. So in those regards, sorry. But as I have more, I won't say free time, but as I'll be playing less, in those times that I actually do play, I will play casually. So look forward to it, guys. It will be a lot more cat appearances and in-houses because I don't think I'll have the real time to focus on that TI dream right now. So might as well just put it down and play with you guys.
Good to know.
Yeah, and as well as I really, apart from like just showing up because of the sake of showing up, I love a Trini sweater. Don't get me wrong. As time I love anybody over cute with me in a Trini sweat, no, I always laugh and it's be fun. I don't take it seriously. I don't. I mean, I will play seriously, but if someone do nonsense, well, boy, what you can do is a Trini sweat. I enjoy things like that. I'm all for the community.
Roger, he needs to end
But
up
like
in
I
OLE.
said before, we really. We'll see how things run, but I want. Boy, I mean, your squad definitely had real potential in that tournament as well. Just say it. It really came down to some like your mid player is really good, and again it was some of the team fights. I remember specifically I was less shocked in that game, and it could have go so it was real easy. It could have been real easy at some points. We nearly die, but
That's
Jesus,
used though, them fights.
yeah.
Pressure.
Again, communication. I'm sure if they had the communication tight, it would be different.
Yeah, well, a lot of the players, I don't want to say relatively new, but they're not that old in the team. So, the KS roster has changed
We
from
got old.
UIM to
I'm gonna deal with some of these questions here, guys. So looking like we can going real deep into this. It's about time to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
Stefan Ali, are there things you do for DB that we don't know about, like stats, coaching, organizing the line? Yeah, well, first of all, our squad very serious. I talk about you don't even understand. We have Excel sheets for drafts. We have stat analysis down to the T from not just me, but Shen is like a Pokédex. Shen does the real background stuff. Shout out, no, did you know you could do
People here.
this? And we'd be like, oh. And Nazco watches a lot of competitive Dota, so he always link us some new fancy stuff that RTZ tried or something. Like remember an RT, and a lot of y'all might not know a simple in-game mechanic on the Radiant side, like the RTZ block for mid lane. Simple things like that could give you a slight advantage, and we all do that. So if yeah, specifically for me, I would say yeah, I do try to coach a team. I do try to be a leader. Now. I have that kind of sergeant vibes, but not overbearing. Like you wouldn't feel intimidated. It's like more of a kind of empowering feeling, like to give the team. I would commend and be like, perfect play, Nasco. Even while the game, I'll be like, guys, we're doing great. That little back voice, that motivational speaker that just giving it the willpower, and you're feeling the aura, and you just want to destroy. That would be me, and I think I bring that to the table a lot.
Okay.
Anyway. Fun question. Which player on the present team is the hardest to mom around or to handle rough up as necessary? Smurf. Smurf is zone out sometimes. Smurf is a great player.
Sometimes
So,
you need to be on Smurf back all the time.
Smurf. I sure they're playing in the house with Smurf, right?
I grew up with Smurf.
Smurf temporarily played with us a couple of games.
That boy do listen.
Nice.
Sometimes you don't.
He's a great player, but he has his own mind. Smurf will do his own thing sometimes, and it just work out, or it might not work out, and that's what makes him a great player. But at the same time, that's also what makes him a little inconsistent. So we're working on that, and I say Smurf is a great player, but he's very hard to. When you reason with him, he will listen, but you had a reason with him,
Yeah.
So Stefanali taking the floor right now with all these questions.
He posted these things a little while ago. So yeah.
Okay. Well, another one was besides your normal picks, your play within tournaments. What heroes do you wreck with in pubs? Personally, I like to go for Lina. Lina is a easy pub stopper hero.
Exactly.
He's real snowball, easy, and could punish players. Or offlane Timbersaw. If you can play Timbersaw real good, Timbersaw is destroy players, Really easy. And also Treant. Believe it or not, Treant is such an underrated hero. That living armor will cause people to dive your teammates, and they would not get a kill because the living armor just so gain. And as well as it heals your towers back to full HP if you remember to rest it on them all the time. As well as his Aghanim Scepter, there's just at that point if you have Aghanim Scepter on Treant, you already kind of win because you have limitless vision all over the map.
Yeah.
Free wards everywhere. And you're also doing damage like long time. Okay, Azim Wahid, interesting. Asks, what is LPG's biggest problem? So a pro question from a pro player.
No, you mixed it up there. The question is above his name. Below is
okay, oops. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to read Ali's question right now. Which was, what is LPG's biggest problem? And Riyad being an LPG member, boy, I'm gonna have to say y'all are such great players. Y'all could have been in the finals. It could have been you versus NLD or us versus you. The only problem y'all have, I say, is closing. Y'all don't know how to close the advantage y'all have or maintain the lead. And that's something that we had as a team, a problem we had before.
Sounds like
y'all just need to work. Well, boy, that's our general problem in teams. But I would say specifically for them because they're all high level. Everyone does what they have to do. But it boils down because they give NLD a sweat. You just see it, and they give us a sweat. You just see it. But it's always come down to those late game moments where a man might get catch off guard or they might force a premature fight. I think it's really working on being a little more conscious of the decisions you'll make as a team. Be a Voltron. Try to be a Voltron more. And because y'all are great, I don't really have much advice for great players. That's what the most I could say. Just try to close while they start because they do great, and you all have the potential to win any tourney. Never rule y'all out. In fact, any player, but they already reached that level of synergy everyone else needs to work on that. So yeah. So but going to Azim's question, who's the closest friend person to you both in two separate aspects? Inside of Dota 2 and life. Well, hands down Pyro inside of Dota 2. Have to say Pyro, I've known Pyro for since I was 5 years old. That's how much history we have. We actually started playing Dota at the same time in E Nation, and
Wait,
that was like well over what 8 years, sir? I don't
more
know.
than that.
That was
I
probably more than
think
what?
it's
When
more
was
than that.
2000?
That's like
When was
almost 10
Why?
years we're
2000?
Because
talking about.
10 years. 10 years ago. Yeah, it was 10 years.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
that's right upstairs the bookstore, I think.
Boy,
downstairs, boy.
because
Downstairs there, my bad.
it was
Same thing.
downstairs. This Teddy's shopping center in San Fernando, and I can
Yeah.
tell you one thing that because of all our friends, because we were in primary school and we were like the only friends from our original group that were playing Dota, we just naturally grew more closer and we would lie more because we had more things to talk about in common. In fact, when I came up with Kyat and he came up with Pyro, I remember that day specifically. I chose Kyat. Funny little background because when men was playing Call of Duty in the cyber, right?
Hmm.
It had people that would just come up with funny names, right? Like just to say that so and so killed so and so, right? So you see your mother man killed so and so, or
Right, I
so and so
remember
and so.
that.
And
Call of Duty,
remember we
right?
were laughing all day. Yeah. So believe it or not, Cat start off as something so stupid. Like I just wanted to hear Cat kill you. You know what I'm saying? And it became something great to the point where we all talking about Cat with such regard when it was really just a funny thing. And it stuck and I love it. And Pyro, well boy, Pyro real think about that name was. I didn't even Pyro love fire and well it came out as fire.
Fire.
But that's my closest friend in game. And possibly even in real life. Eh? I ain't gonna lie about that. Me and Daryl, we go way back. Way, way back. Tight close for first. And I'll definitely have to say my other great friend is Kevin Grant, who's also another childhood friend since I was 5 years old. But I don't have to go into that because it's a Dota discussion. But those
Yeah.
two would definitely be up there. Um, Stefan again asks, does high level Dota require natural talent, or could anyone get to that level with enough practice? Well, if you're I believe enough practice makes. Nazim is a testament to that. Nasco is a testament to that. They practiced the shit out of that. And Nasco, he was like he said on Garena, no one noticed him BTK. He was just a normal player. Azim right now is amazing. I mean, he's the highest MMR in the Caribbean, arguably the Caribbean, and a very sound player. And I sure that could only come through real dedication and real practice. So definitely practice. If you want it real bad, you will work on it. You will do your research. You'll watch your competitive plays, and you'll just better yourself. So don't give up, man. Stefan Ali also asked Daya or Radiant. I like Radiant. RTZ Black.
Right. Look, a more interesting question, right, from Radi Bash.
Oh, that's
That's
all
my
Oh,
those.
question.
this is a nice question. How would you rate the community skill level now versus back on local server?
Oh,
You
that's a
from back
lovely.
then, if you were active, do you think would do well now? That's a great
Boy,
question.
that's a great question there. Very nostalgic question too. Um, how will I rate the community skill level now versus back on local server? I'll definitely say now is much better because, like Shannon mentioned before, we were still experimenting with Dota, figuring out the heroes. Many used to die from Windwalk, many used to die from Epicenter, from Sand King.
You'll have
I
a
remember
team,
Sand King
a
was so
whole game of
scary a
just
long
five,
time. Like
10 carries. 10
Ultimate Warrior
carries.
was such a great player too. Oh my God, Ultimate Warrior was used to stomp people.
Kashi.
Yeah, Kashi Singh. I don't know why. I guess life happened and he needs to deal with life.
As
But
usual.
Ultimate Warrior had potential to be a great player on the
Jim
scene, and also I
doesn't
got
have
love
button.
Jin boy, Jin and Cancer like. My God, it was good seeing them at the TI viewing. The old school players that I love seeing. But going back to who I would say Ultimate Warrior or you see this guy Spawn. I remember Spawn.
Yeah.
Spawn or even Wolf Dog. Wolf, real old school.
DGW.
Wolf and Wild Child. Yeah,
Hmm.
they were all great players that I used to look up to. Rasta Elmo.
But
Boy,
MC.
well,
Elmo.
I had to say, MC, oh God, MC Muscle Grip, yeah, boy. Muscle Grip was a force to be reckoned with back in Java days. I remember really looking up to those guys, man. It was good seeing them, and but I guess life happened, and sometimes it would be nice to see them back in the community because, like I said, they could just come out to spectate, or who knows, play a couple casual games.
Hmm.
But
Well, a lot of them
they
they
all.
are around, eh? They play casually. Like I mean, a lot of them are around my age, and I'm in contact with a lot of them. I mean, they're my friends. And like for the pub sub and so on, I would let them know, are we doing this and so on, and they would come. And I was able to see somebody with their heads come out. So they're interested. They may not be
Mhm.
active in playing as much, but they're interested because they like Dota, they like gaming. So.
That's great to hear, man. Because I mean, it's something we love, and you don't have to give up on it. I mean, gaming on the whole is a new thing in society, so it frowned upon and it seems childish, but it's not. Football is a game. Everything is a game, essentially at its core, and we should always back up what we love. Don't be afraid of that. Um, yes, I hope that answered your question, Riyad. What is so? Mikhail closes here with one last question for the night. What is your favorite mid hero in 6.84? I'll have to say, well, the Sharkers always get banned, right? But
Mhm.
I would have to go with Lena again. I really like Lena, very easy hero to rule with. Um, yeah,
Once you can land that light
that's
strike.
about. Yeah, it's pretty easy after you get the use, but I mean, you can predict. What I do with a little tip for guys, if you see someone trying to last it, the chances are they're going to be in that position. So just wait till they're going to get a last it. Instead of trying to deny, land the light strike and punish them for it.
Right.
So that's a nice little tip if you want. So I typically go light strike and then the passive because your passive will actually add up to be doing more damage than your first spell once you land the land strike. And then by the time you hit level 3, which would be soon, it will be just enough to finish them while they're running away. So, fun little bill you could try.
Nice.
And
All right, Amir,
that's
there's two
it.
things
Okay.
I want to ask. I want to ask two questions before Diana moves on. Firstly, what do you think about esports locally, and where do you think we might go? And second part of that is where do you wish we would go in terms of esports locally?
Sorry, I think my internet dropped a little bit with the first part of the
All
question.
right.
Just say
So
again,
with
sir.
respect to esports locally, right? What do you think the
Right.
status is right now in Trinidad, locally, not just
Mm-hmm.
regionally, locally, right? Where do you think we might be going to, and where do you wish we should go? We might go. Sorry.
Well, boy, I think for the first part, esports right now is in its baby stages and it's growing. It is growing. It is without a doubt a force that's going to be a big industry. Believe it or not, I see that vision and I believe that we are going to get the attention that we deserve soon. And a lot of people are already putting things in place to see that happening. Or you guys even know GamesCon was just one of many things to come.
Mm-hmm.
So now is a great time to work on your skills and really try and reap from the passion that you love so much. And where the direction we go in is in the right direction. We're taking the right steps. I mean, look at your testimony to the pillars in the community that we need to really build this whole thing on. And I have to congratulate you all on the effort you all put into it. I mean, you all are all big working people, and you all take the time out to see the community grow. So props to you guys all. Give a round of applause there, you guys. Honestly, well done, Sky, Shannon, Roger, and all those casters, Mikhail, everyone. You all did a great job, and I could, guys, we need to come together. This is big. I mean, if you want to see things growing, you need to be a part of it and stop trying to bring down people movements.
Mm-hmm.
You're not doing anything. So at least try to support it. Try and help what's going on. If you love something, it can either be active or it can just be like everyone else and watch. So I
Exactly.
encourage people to to jump out and support the causes, and I love what's going on, and I definitely see the competitive scene growing into much bigger things, and I will have my own part to play in that time. But it's looking bright. The future, the local scene as well as regionally, will be just what we wanted. We might even have our own kind of TI down here in our timing. But you had the Lady Bricks, so yeah.
All right, and my second question, which is somewhat related to this, what are your overall views, like a summary of GamesCon? And the second part of that question is, what do you think other organizations, companies, or groups should do in the future to either build on events like GamesCon or learn from the event itself?
Okay, honestly, the second part. What was your first part? I didn't hear the first part.
What are your overall views, like a summary of GamesCon itself?
Okay.
Not just
All
Dota,
right. Well,
GamesCon.
my experience at GamesCon, despite the poor organization of the Dota and LoL, I have to say it was great to see something actually being done. I have to give Kevin the props for coming out with an event. I mean, a lot of people could coast and say, "Well, boy, we still need to finish the finals, and this wasn't ready, and that." At the end of the day, we all were there in a building together for Dota, for gaming, and that was great. That was so nice to feel and see of it. And I think that's the prototype for a lot of people should watch from the mistakes. There were mistakes, of course, poorly organized, the staff, a lot of things could be said, but we need to not just deconstruct it and bring it down. We need to also learn from it and use those points to build better things in the future. In terms of companies and things coming into what was the second part again, Shannon?
Like, what in the future, what should
Mhm.
companies, groups, organizations, anybody who's looking to do something similar to GamesCon or build on something like what GamesCon
Right.
did for the community, what should they do? What do you think that they should
Yeah.
look forward to doing, and what they should learn from it?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a big business background, or I can only speak for like the community, right?
Well, the
Like from
community
a
aspect is what I want to
perspective.
find out. Your views, because I mean, we would have some of our views in
Okay.
terms of organization, but your views as someone who's playing, someone who's coming to partake in the event. That's what I want to hear.
Okay. Well, I would love to see the more people. We should really try to get more people jumping out from the community, right? Because the community, again, the tournaments based solely on how much teams participate. We have a lot of teams that there. They may not be formed yet, but we have a large player base of scattered players, I should say, or players that are not confident enough to join a tourney. And I think regardless of whether you have a chance to win or not, you should really do it for the experience. You should really try to join because you love this thing. This is your passion. You play this whether you like it or not. You know you playing Dota if you ain't coming that Tony, man. You know you're home playing somewhere.
Yep.
Why not come out and support the cause? Because that's one of the main things. I mean, as what makes an event successful is the turnout, and that is something you as players in the community can more than do, whether it's to spectate or if it's to participate. And that's what we need to really do. We need to actively jump out and stop being lazy or stop being whatever excuse you have. Just make time for the thing you love now and jump out. It's just a day, a day in your busy life. I'm sorry. Just take a day off. But I mean, you don't have to have. You see things happen on certain days. I'm not going to jump on everybody's case for that. I'm not angry. I understand life happens, but we need to make a conscious effort to jump out. And of course, if you're organizing a tournament, please, you don't start a project without the proper resources. You need to have everything ready. Things were at the last minute. So for those who organize a event, you test the equipment before. You get your netbook set up, get everything set up in a way that it is smooth running the program. And we'll be fine. All tournaments should learn from GamesCon, and the community should jump out. Let's give LOL a run for their money.
Yes, yes. The showing on the day was a bit disappointing compared to the
A
LoL
little
community.
dismal, but it's good to see people
And
faces
I'm
I
being
didn't see in a
generous,
while.
modest.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
All right, so I guess that's basically it. Diana.
Yes,
take over.
Amir, thank you very much. This ended up being a
Thanks for
lot
having
longer
me,
than
guys.
we thought it would be because it's been about 2 hours.
Already?
So
Wow.
So
yes, it has been
time
a
flew. I
super
didn't even
interview.
notice.
Indeed, I mean,
Thank you very, very much for sitting down with us and giving us 2 hours of your time. So we're gonna let you go now. And
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
definitely,
Honestly, just to interject, then
yeah,
I would like to say, keep up the great work. You're doing a lot, and for no return. This is just all for your love of it, and keep it up. This is what we need, and guys, support them. We here. We all should be a part of this, whether it be asking questions or tuning in or simple things like that, man. You're playing your Dota, show your support.
right. Thank you very
Anyway,
much. Um, Tomorrow night or tomorrow evening, we want to sit down with Faraz. So
yeah.
again, y'all, we will post updates on the pages so y'all can know what time we're gonna do that. And I think that'll be the last of our interviews. And
We've got
congratulations. I
Q&A
don't
with us
yes,
actually.
yeah.
if there's anybody
Um,
who's interested in asking us any questions. And I don't think we said it for the interview so far, but Amir, congratulations to you and DB. That victory was
No
well
problem.
deserved and very, very well played. So
yeah,
congratulations.
you all
Okay?
won me
It was a
blades.
tough game.
I got back golden
My
blades though,
team.
so thanks.
Oh
Salty
yes, I know some
Blades.
gambling went on. I know some people lost their neck and hand and leg and all kinds of
Well,
Nah,
and
those
if you're
blades
aware, Amir,
special.
yes, those blades are only put up when DB and NLD face each other in the
Oh
finals.
boy, oh boy.
Which
So
means
yeah.
that
Well,
since
hopefully
there's no
we'll.
more NLD, the blade
So
stay
yeah.
with
Oh good.
me.
No,
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 it
Roger.
stay
Good,
with you,
good.
Roger
man.
has
Roger owns for
won the
life
blades.
now.
Yes.
I
Well,
hope you didn't take all the first caption from it though.
No, I didn't. I didn't. But I mean,
Nice.
like I said, the blades stay with me because there's no NLD and there's not gonna be any NLD V3. So
Salza.
Of
hard
Salza.
course
luck,
not.
Huh.
brother.
I'm
Hard
not feeling
luck.
sorry for you.
That's sad. I mean, it's sad to see one of the well, arguably the greatest local team that have had. They had a good run. Sad to see them end so
Maybe they'll form new
prematurely. I
teams,
would say
so
prematurely.
it's
Hopefully
something
they
to
Who
look
will.
knows?
forward to.
I have a feeling there'll be a version 3, because you can't end on 2, man. You had to end on
Yeah.
3.
Till
3's a
time's a
prime
charm, right?
number, but
So
we'll
again,
see. Third
as
time is
Diana
the
said,
charm.
Amir, thanks for doing the interview
Oh,
with us. Just to let you know that this is just the first of many. I mean, as you would have realized that we're trying out something new here. And this interview
yes.
is actually the second. The first is with Azim a little earlier today. Tomorrow, as Diana mentioned, we'll be doing one for us. Also, we want to do a sit down, a question and answer with the committee itself, with just the TTDC members. So if anything you all want to find out from us, what we plan to do in the future, what ventures we may want to undertake, what we have in the pipeline, what we hope you all give some feedback on, what we might even do some instructions how to use the basic forms that we made, the index, the reason why these things are made. So look out for these things in the future. When I get time, I try to do these things, right? So it's not like I can do all in one shot. So they'll be coming in as soon as we get time. Also, so tomorrow, if you are around, make sure you all tune in. We'll post details and look out for more content coming up in the future. Hopefully, in not so far away, we'd actually start doing some vlogs, so we'd actually see people talking instead of just my picture lighting up here. So I just see Azim posted something
Mhm.
here.
Okay, so the blades will return to my inventory eventually, because he says that this is a message to everybody. There will be a future NLD, but he's not
Mm.
telling us when. So,
I'm glad to
okay,
see that. I knew it. I
me
knew it,
too.
brother. I knew
I'll
it.
be
I knew it
collecting
could
those
be
blades
out.
That
tomorrow,
will
by
be
the
his
way.
legacy. That's why
Yeah.
Azim's
Oh
legacy.
boy, well, this will be a fight of the century here because it's always good to have healthy competition, and
It
it
is.
won't be a real tourney without the presence of NLD,
Well, the
or it will
the
definitely be
NLD feud
noticed.
is what fueled a lot of the competitions that we had in the last few months. People were looking forward to it.
Well,
So yeah.
let's not count out LPG too. You see that team? I believe they could come out with a big upset, a huge surprise. You never know, and,
I
and,
hope
and you
so.
never know what we might inspire from other teams as
Exactly.
well.
With each tournament
So
that we do, each event, you notice that the committee is they're getting more into the swing here. They realize, okay, it makes sense for me to stay in a team now. The competitive nature
mhm.
remains. So they know, like, all right, we're doing an event this month. If we don't win this month, they're going to have at least one thing next month. So we should stay in the team and practice, and that's what we want to promote. Not just
I
five.
want to be more.
We just script together 5 guys and make a tournament.
Right.
Team.
Exactly. Because when B-Mobile come out with the $10,000 individual price, man will get serious. You know? Who knows? Who knows how life could be now?
I see Riyadh has posted a question here for Azim, I believe. Whoa, okay. Yeah, he did.
Okay, you
well,
know
we
what,
carry that to the
guys?
Trinity Total
Yes, guys.
group, yeah.
Good night.
We done.
Cheers.
Good
Thank
night,
you very
guys.
much.
Yeah.
Good night. Thank you everybody for watching and listening.
Alright, so don't
Bye.
forget to tune in tomorrow, okay, guys? Alright.